Hello, you guys. So today we're going to be doing chapter or section 4.6 of IB Business Management, International Marketing. This is a really easy, basic, simple section. It's just for HL students to really understand more about the market in general, and they're making it international because we do know that, and for example, an MNC, which is a multinational corporation, is a corporation that operates in more than one country. It's a business that operates in more than one country. So basically, the IB just wants you to know beyond national borders. So we're going to begin. This really comes simple in testing. They might ask you a definition, but I don't think it's going to exceed a 4 marker, honestly. So let's begin. So a key term is international marketing. So what is it? We have to define it. It's the marketing of goods and services across, like I said, national borders. So for example, products from one country are marketed to another country. So basically local countries that are local products that are produced in a certain country that are for this specific country. And for example, let's say Canada and maple syrup. Okay, maple syrup may be produced in other places, but it's mainly from Canada, so it's really mainly produced in Canada. So maybe maple syrup produced in Canada is marketed to another country like the US or Mexico, let's say. And globalization. Oh, and then the second thing is that firms have the flexibility to differ in marketing approach to other countries. Okay, so we do know that, and we learned in like section 4.1 that, for example, we have like demographics, we have different ages, we have different genders, and in this case, the demographic is different cultures. So we need to use different approaches. For example, you can't market the same product in the same way to the American culture and the Japanese culture because they have many different values, many different ethics. Their thought process is different, their ideology is different. So it really depends on your demographic. And in this case, your demographic is different cultures. So it really has to differ in the way you market the product because, again, for some cultures, something's acceptable, something isn't, etc. So, yeah. And their priorities are different and their values are different, like I previously mentioned. So now let's define globalization. So globalization is the increasing worldwide competition leading to a rise in international marketing. Okay, so basically it's just like increased competition between firms. Now, how businesses enter international markets. So they have the internet in this day and age. So many businesses use the internet to market their products because of its global reach. Because again, through the internet, because most people around the world have access to it, it can really get to anyone everywhere at this point. So they can use social media platforms and whatnot. New internet businesses are being set up due to low cost involved in their marketing products abroad. This is, if you want, below the line promotion because it's really easy and many people can access it. So it's pretty easy. It's not costly for the firm because, again, marketing is a cost and it really depends on the firm's budget. So, yeah. Existing businesses use the internet as an additional channel to enhance their current marketing methods. Okay, so basically the business may be doing well, it's using above the line promotion, and it's doing really well, but at the same time, it might even take advantage of the internet as well. It can just use it, they can make a like that's really lately TikTok's been really trending for businesses because it has such a wide span, which is such a wide span of individuals around the world. So again, keyword enhance. So just like makes it just helps the business more. It gives it like increases the business brand awareness because, again, brand awareness is a really important key term in IB business management marketing because it's basically how people know the brand, so they're aware of it. Okay, they're aware of its existence and aware of the products it has to serve, like whether it's the good or services that it has to contribute to the market. Okay, so now we have another keyword, which is e-commerce. So e-commerce is basically trading over the internet. It's a popular internet strategy for many new businesses. Okay, so now the second way is exporting. So if you're an econ student, you probably know import and exports. And basically export is when you send goods and services to another country. So you send them outside the country that you are in. So exporting can be done both directly and indirectly. So direct or exporting is a country commits on marketing its product abroad on its own behalf. So it does it itself. So the company does it itself. And the advantage of that is the business has control over its products and operations abroad. So again, control is something really important. So again, when you're using a 10 marker, especially whether it's a 4, 6, or 10 marker, but especially in the 10 markers, you can always talk about control, whether it's an advantage or disadvantage. So you can manipulate it depending on the context. Because again, in IB business management, I reiterate this over 1,000 times. It's about content and context, not just the content. Okay, and in this case, if it's doing the exporting itself, then it can actually control its products and how they arrive and the condition arrive. Because again, exporting, it means it's leaving the country. It's going through many processes, through many like distribution channels. So we need to make sure that the product, especially if it's like it's usually basically a good, the good reaches intact. It reaches in good shape. It's not like affected or anything, or like partially broken, or so yeah. And indirect exporting involves hiring an export intermediary or an agent in the home's product to market the domestic firm's product abroad. So this is basically when they hire someone. And again, advantage is that maybe hiring someone is cheaper. So it depends. It might be cheaper, it might be more expensive. It really depends on the situation, because again, there's sometimes maybe tariffs, there may be many things involved in like exporting. So now we need to discuss or define piggybacking. So it's basically the use of existing distribution channels of domestic business by another domestic home country business trying to sell a product overseas. Okay, so I'm going to explain this. Let's say company A is exporting its products, okay? Company B is in the same country as company A and also wants to export its product. So what it does is that it uses the same distribution channels that company A uses. So basically, company B is piggybacking on company A, okay? So that's it basically. And then you have direct investment. Okay, so direct investment is where a business sets up production plants abroad. So the benefits of direct investment is that businesses gain access to local markets, making products easily available to the customers, right? And again, business gains market knowledge because again, like I said, it's a demographic. Each demographic is different. So when it has market knowledge, it sees which marketing strategies are like successful with this group of people, with this like community, with this population, then it will use it. Hence, it can adapt to its product according to the customer's needs and wants. And again, they have different needs and wants. For example, the demands for certain foods in some countries are different than other countries. Some countries may prioritize healthy foods, other countries may not. Maybe it may be for religious reasons. Some countries have a lot of a certain religion and they can't eat a certain food while other countries can. So again, it really is dependent on the culture that you're in. Now we have joint ventures. So you should know joint ventures from section 1.5. Basically, what a joint venture is, it's an organization which is created, owned, and operated by two or more organizations. Okay, joint ventures are legally distinct from the organizations that created it. Okay, so let's say company A, company B, basically like they like created company C, right? So company C is independent from company A and company B, right? They're two different things legally speaking, okay? But it's created, owned, and operated by both company A and company B, right? So these two parties share their resources, each responsible for their costs, profits, and losses incurred by company C, for example. However, the participants keep their independent businesses interests separate from the newly formed business venture, okay? Because again, they're legally independent from one another. Now, international franchising, this is the last way that they enter these international markets. So international franchising, what is it? Let's define it. It's a business arrangement where the franchisor, the business in one country, grants the franchisee, the business in another country, permission to use its brand, trademark, concepts, and expertise in exchange for a franchise fee and a percentage of sales revenue as royalty. Okay, so there's kind of a bit to explain in this one. So basically, let's say McDonald's, it has like franchises all around the world. Okay, and basically, the franchisor, which is the business in one country, which grants the franchisee the business in another country. So the franchisee gives the so the franchisor gives the franchisee permission, and the franchisee pays the franchisor a fee. Okay, so they use its brand, so it's like brand name, its trademark, its concept, and its expertise in exchange for a franchise fee and a percentage of sales revenue as royalty. So royalty, basically royalty is like a percentage on the amount of sales. For example, let's say they make a deal that for like, let's say for every box of fries, I'm not sure of the cost, but let's say for every box of fries, it's $5, every box of fries. So basically, a royalty is like $1 on every box of fries. Okay, so that's basically it. So let's say they sell like a million boxes of fries. So that's $5 million. So the franchisor takes $1 million because they're taking $1 per box of fries, right? So that's it. So opportunities as a result of entering and operating internationally. So basically the first opportunities that they have a larger market in general, so they have like a larger market share. So introducing a company's product to a new market provides a greater research a greater reach for those products which increase the customer base. This enables the business to gain higher sales and higher profitability because, again, the more they're selling to, the more profit they're making because, again, when they sell more, they make, okay, so basically sales revenue equals P times Q, basically price times quantity. So once quantity starts increasing, then sales revenue will increase itself, right? And then profit, so let's just like put a comma so you guys won't get confused. Profit is equal to sales revenue, sales revenue minus costs, total costs. Okay, or like total revenue minus costs. Okay, guys, you need to get it that way. That's it. And basically, sales revenue is basically total revenue. Okay, so yeah. The effective, so basically once quantity increases, sales revenue increases. Once sales revenue increases, then profit increases as well, right? That's it. Okay, so this is an effective extension strategy since a product might be in the saturation stage of its product cycle. Okay, so this we learned in section 5.4. I'm sorry, 4.5, excuse me, it's 4.5, really sorry. But basically, in saturation stage of its product cycle, basically saturation stage is when the product is kind of at a stage where it's gained the most popularity possible. It can't gain more possible popularity. So at this stage, it's not going to be more popular or have its amount of sales increase. So the company can end up going to a new market and it can start the product cycle all over again. But entering a new market, it begins its life cycle fresh. Okay, so fresh. Diversification. So we learned this in section 1.3, the Ansoff matrix. Is it 1.3 or 1.4? But basically, it's the Ansoff matrix. It provides the company an opportunity to spread the risks by investing in other companies. Okay, because basically diversification is new product and new market. Diversification reduces dependence on gaining revenue only from one home market because basically if it's not popular in one country, it doesn't mean it's not popular in another country. So it might be popular in country A, but not popular in country B, vice versa. In case of key risks such as the economic downturn. Enhanced brand image. So basically, the global reach brought by international marketing means that the business involved can be perceived as more successful than those who operate in domestic markets. Okay, so basically, once it has like an enhanced brand image, it has more brand awareness, more individuals are like aware of the like businesses existence, what it has to offer to the market. You make it be like more successful. It might but not be making more profit, but at least its brand image is really better, so it might even gain more investors and whatnot. This creates a greater brand prestige that can drive brand loyalty. So basically it'll have a nicer brand name, people will want to be associated with the brand, you know. And then gaining economies of scale. So businesses can increase its scale of operations. Again, I'm going to redefine economies of scale. I think I define this in almost every video, but basically economies of scale is when the business starts producing a lot more, so a much greater quantity. And what ends up happening is that the cost per unit decreases. Okay, so basically the unit might have cost $1 before, it's gonna cost 0.80 cents now. Through international marketing by selling more products abroad. This can reduce the average cost of production, thus making the business more competitive. The business can take advantage by increasing profit markup and making higher profits. Okay, because basically profit markup is basically because, let's say, like I was saying, they used to like, let's say they sell it for $3 and they used to make it for $1. So their profit markup would be $2. But now that it's 80 cents, their profit markup is $2.20. Okay. And that will lead to higher profits because again, they're making more, they're basically decreasing their costs. Forming new business relations. So marketing overseas can enable businesses to make connections with the various stakeholders. This can be suppliers mostly, such as suppliers which offer better prices for inputs like raw materials compared to suppliers in the home market. For example, let's say a business produces cars, and when they move to a new, like not they move, but like they open another country, they find suppliers who make their engines for the same quality but for like lower prices. So they end up like decreasing their costs. Okay. Once you decrease your cost, then you increase your profit. These contacts can provide opportunities for increased efficiency and profitability for the business. Profitability in the idea that their cost decrease, so the profit increases, but increased efficiency as well is that basically within the given time frame and within the amount of raw material they have, they can produce more car engines. Okay, so yeah, that's it, guys. This is the last part. So threats as a result of entering and operating internationally, because again, remember in IB business management, everything is two-sided, meaning that there's opportunities, there's threats, there is advantages, disadvantages, there's pros, there's cons. So always remember that in IB business management. So we have economic challenges. So the inequitable distribution of income in many countries can pose a major problem for countries wanting to market overseas. Many countries have low per capita income or purchasing power, and therefore many lack income to purchase the product they marketed. Okay, so this is very, very, very economics like. So if you're at econ student, this will be quite easier for you. But basically, low per capita income is basically when like they're like the population isn't making much money. Okay, so their GDP isn't really per capita. It's more like, because per capita is basically per population. For example, the country has a really high GDP. It's really good, okay, but their population compared to the GDP is really low. Let's say like the population is 300 million. So when you divide the GDP by the population, then it's gonna be pretty low per capita. So that means that they don't really have much money. Like there's a lot of low class, and basically purchasing power is like their ability to really purchase a lot of things. So yeah, and then they have fluctuating exchange rates, and different interest rates also pose planning on businesses willing to market abroad. Basically, exchange rates are basically, for example, some countries they use the US dollar, other countries they use the euro, other countries they use the pound sterling, other countries they use rupees. So yeah. So basically fluctuating exchange rates means that they like it's kind of different. For example, the country that's like producing its home country is like using pound sterling, but then they're going to a country that uses rupees. There's a big difference between these two, so it's gonna be quite different, especially if the country that's like that uses rupees, it constantly has different fluctuating exchange rates, so they have to constantly change their prices to be equivalent in both countries. So it's really quite complicated, and differing interest rates is also quite complicated. Then you have political challenges. So unstable political regimes pose a threat to businesses that are willing to operate in domestic markets. For example, in the country like Lebanon, a country in the Middle East, there's a lot of political uncertainty. There's always political like tribulations, always some issues. So basically, it's very unstable for the business. They don't know if they're going to stay quite open for a long time. They don't know what's happening. So yeah. And for example, in the country of Lebanon, the in 2019, the brand Nix opened, and it they like cosmetics brand, and it like just shut down a few months later. The ease of which governments can change regulations can also increase the risk of doing international business, because again, a big factor, which is actually like an external factor, which is actually in steeple, which is like political and legal. These two things, they're in this as well. This is actually quite steeple, actually, like it's all steeple if you think of it. But basically political, like if they make a law that they ban a raw material that's in like the products that the business sells, or basically they ban the industry that the businesses operates in. So you really never know. But yeah, so legal challenges. Different countries have different laws that businesses try to abide by if they market overseas. International markets must adhere to many consumers' protection laws and property rights and exist in other countries. Okay, so again, political legal really depends on the country, but this can like really negatively affect the operations of the business. So social challenges, difference in demographic or population structures, like I previously mentioned, of different countries should be a key consideration for international markets. Again, markets need to be aware of the disparity and segments that the markets accordingly if they are to reap any benefits. Okay, so they need to take the population into consideration basically of that country. Lastly, and most importantly, in my opinion, technological change, its growing use of the internet has increased the speed at which businesses operate at a global scale. So a number of developing countries still lack access to vital resources, coupled with limited infrastructure and poor communication systems can have drastic impact on how the systems operate. Again, so technology is always changing. This is technically steeple. So yeah, that's it for 4.6. I hope you liked it. If you have any questions, please comment down below, and please subscribe and like so I can keep posting videos like this. If you want private tutoring sessions, you can always email me on my email down below. And yeah, I hope you like it. So thank you so much for watching. Bye bye. Have a good day.